Hello and welcome to episode 130 of the Sussex by the Sea podcast. I'm your host, Chris Laverick. On episode 130, we talk to writer, blogger, programme content maker and podcaster Trevor Knell on his new podcast, the SNLF, that's the Sussex Non-League Football Podcast. And we talk the Sussex non-league football scene right now. Then, as usual, we have the SBTS ISTHMIAN League Fan Roundtable, rounding up the highs and lows of another tumultuous couple of weeks. Enjoy, SBTS fans. And now over to Trevor Knell. It gives me great pleasure to have Trevor Knell on episode 130 of the Sussex by the Sea podcast. And here's another man who's a Sussexonian, as we say, but sort of the posh end, West Sussex, Arundel Way. A man who's got, literally, I'm looking at the Premier Non-League podcast, the SNLF. I'm sure you do a Substack as well, didn't you, Trev?
I do, yeah.
You do.
Yeah,
I mean, footballwriting.co.uk, loads and loads of work promoting the lovely stuff that is non-league football. Close to my heart as well. So we had to have Trevor on. Firstly, Trev, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Chris. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. Today we're pushing. Today it's the talk about the SNLF podcast. It's episode 6. Is out. I think it was a day or two ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, out last Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was the one where you had the Lancing manager on, or am I thinking of the one before?
No, that was one before that. We had the two guys that organised the Sussex Groundhop at the weekend.
Okay. So tell me how the SNLF podcast got going and who's behind it. Nothing sinister, but I mean by that, but like in terms of who got together and has got this good thing talking about Sussex football.
Well, actually, it comes from an idea from your old CEO, Billy Wood.
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, Billy Wood. Yeah.
Basically, Billy had an idea. I can't remember where he put it on, whether it was on Facebook or on Twitter, I think it was. He'd spotted the same niche that we're exploiting, basically where the newspapers haven't got the resources anymore to cover non-league football all the way down to sort of like the county league levels, and they're all clubs just like the Hastings, the Bognors, the Worthings, and the Eastbournes up there as well, and they all deserve their own coverage. So I messaged him back. I think a couple of other people did and said, look, yeah, we're quite interested, and it never went anywhere. So I thought, right, there's a space for this. There's an absolute space for this. So I park it in the back of my mind, and if I can ever get it to come off, be fantastic. That'll actually be, for me, the end goal of what I wanted to kind of get to. And it's been parked and parked. We're probably talking, probably about a couple of years, maybe 3. And then I was chatting to one of my mates, Mike McCaffrey, a few months ago, and originally he was just going to do a bit of sponsorship on my site, the footballwriting.co.uk one. And then we were just talking a little bit more, and he said, what's the end goal? And I said, the end goal is this site, basically. That's what I want to get to that point. And he said, right, let's make it happen. So we sort of talked for a few months. He said, what do you need to do? And I said, the real thing I think is, reason why no one's done it is money to get it set up, to sustain it and keep it moving. I said, the content's no problem. I can sort that. It's everywhere. You just don't need to do any much. You look on X, Twitter, whatever you like to call it, and it's there. Some clubs are really great with their social media, and there's some little quirky bits that don't get to the paper, which still need highlighting as well. So we sort of started putting it together end of last year, beginning of this year. We got the website off the ground in July, so we're not even up to 6 months yet. And then we started the podcast. As you said, we've had 6 episodes plus a pilot. So 7 weeks ago, we've been going on the podcast, and that's literally the story. But we have literally just scratched the surface at the moment.
Yeah, and the podcast is a weekly one, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that myself when I was covering with the lovely Leon Pettit of former Icklesham player. We were covering the ESFL, MSFL, and SCFL. We tried it for a season a couple of years ago now. with video and everything, and because it's only myself and Leon sort of participating, it's hard work. So my heart goes out to you, and I hope it works. I mean, there's so many great clubs out there, big and small, and there's so many stories. There's so, like, I know everyone says their own fan base is special, but there's so many special fan bases out there, so many quirky stories, and great football as well. So the fact that you can get people on talking about it weekly from all the different clubs is great. Something I'm trying to do as well in my own small way, but it's just to get those stories out there, because you're doing it because you love. You're not doing it to make money out of it, are you? Really, you're doing it because you love football, and I mean, obviously, if you can make money out of it eventually, good luck to you. So, who you got on next week for on the SNLF?
This coming week, we've got, hopefully, I've just got to check and make sure she's still coming on, the Whitehawk physio, Ellie Mae Watson. It's going to be our special guest this week. So that's the other thing we're trying to do with the special guests on the podcast, is not just go from a manager point of view. We're trying to pick all the angles as far as we can. So I think 3 weeks ago, we had Paul Stone, who's a secretary at Haywards Heath. We had the Groundhop guys last week ahead of the Southern Combination hop at the weekend, which was a perfect thing to do. Ellie this week. We've got a couple of other chairmen that are keen to come on. We've actually had people going, get me on, get me on.
Oh, good.
We're booked up to the end of November. I'm already looking at December. I think we're halfway through that with people that want to come on. Because those people have got the stories just as much of the guys having the dugout, and it's just, like you say, trying to get those stories out there and across to people and give everyone a broad outlook of the non-league football rather than just like pigeonholing it, straight down the middle.
Well, yeah, particularly if you just get a manager on, they're going to give you a certain angle. They're not going to want to give too many things away. Whereas, I say, getting a physio on, I'm sure there's many ridiculous things that have gone on, and they can talk about. They're not have to worry about anything setting anyone. So you've got, in terms of your sponsorship, I've seen that for an event at Arundel FC, you've got in conversation with Marc White of Dorking fame, Dom Diapaleo of the mighty Horsham, and Craig Stewart, who's the current manager at Arundel. I mean, and that you're sponsoring this. I mean, how have you got that together? That's a great three to get together. How difficult was that?
I didn't actually have too much to do with it, actually. Mike, who is a part of the podcast, there's the three of us. There's myself, there's Mike McCaffrey, and there's one of my mates I've known for about 12 years, Gareth Spinks, who goes around to a lot of games as well. Mike's obviously first team coach, I think it is, at Arundel at the moment as well. So there's the three of us on the pod, and Mike come to me a few weeks ago and said Arundel are going to put this event on with Marc, with Dom and Craig. He said, do you fancy emceeing it? Would you do that? I said, nice. Yeah. And he obviously said, he said, you know Marc well enough, Dom, Craig. We did a PNLP live a couple of years ago with Marc and Dom were two of the guests, along with Adam Hinchelwood and Chris Simmons of Broadbridge Heath. So I speak to both of those two quite regularly. Just touch base every now and then. That, like I say, Marc's a legend in his own right when it comes to podcasting and stories and everything. That evening, I think I spoke to Dom actually, I think a couple of weeks ago, and he said, he said, we're with you soon, aren't we? I said, yeah. I said, we got the evening, haven't we? He said, Marc will be, running away with it on his own. I said, I know. It's going
to be hard to MC it, isn't it? Get him to shut up occasionally, yeah.
There's literally going to be one question for Dom and one question for Craig, and the rest of it is just going to be Marc all the way through. But no, it's going to be good. Marc is box office. Everyone knows that. He'll get bums in seats. And I've listened to him on so many podcasts as well that even some of the stories I've heard more than once, he just chucks another couple of bits into that, and you just think, oh, I haven't heard that little bit before. It's just fantastic. So that evening would be great. We're sponsoring it.
That's the 27th of November, wasn't it?
27th, yeah, Wednesday, 27th of November. There's a link up on our website, and which is going up this evening. It's already out on Twitter and on our Facebook page as well, so you can get tickets from there. There are only a limited amount of how many people they can get in the clubhouse. So if you do,
what's the clubhouse like at Arundel anyway? I can't say I've ever been to that ground. So
it's cozy and comfy, I think is the best way to describe it. A lot of sofas and comfy chairs rather than sort of hard seating stuff and that. So it's going to be a really good evening. We're hoping as well we can get it recorded and then put it out ourselves onto a YouTube channel. Just to give it that extra
Oh,
little
you
bit.
definitely get a few views there.
So,
Bloody hell.
absolutely, yeah. And that's just what it's all about for us at the
Mm.
moment, because we're relatively new. It's just getting ourselves out there as much as we can, everywhere and anywhere. Just to keep growing what is going to be our brand, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've said obviously from your brand point of view, you are all over Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, which is good. And anything that's pushing local football is a good thing, because it's a real tragedy, as you say, about the local papers pulling back, and that there's no correspondence now at games. So in all of our own little ways, if we can get a little bit of a voice out there, filling us in, might encourage others to go and watch their local teams as well, which is, keeps the lifeblood of football going, isn't it, really?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think our levels are benefiting really well from people being priced out at the top level of the game, VAR, things moving, international break, kickoff times changing at a couple of weeks' notice and whatnot. It is pushing so many people down into our levels. I mean, just looking at yourselves, Chris, at Hastings, getting anywhere between 1,000 and 2,500 for a game at that level is ridiculous when you look by looking in from from a different country, and things like that. But you even go down a lot further, to clubs at step 5 getting 200-300 through the gate as well. And you just think, blimey, it's just ridiculous. If you weren't involved in it, you think how, but room for even more, as well on top of that.
Exactly. Well, you've mentioned my club, Hastings. Obviously, this podcast that I do is Sussex wide. It used to be Hastings only until a few years ago. But you're just saying that we've just lost manager Danny Bloor. You had Danny on, was it episode? I'm going to get this wrong again. Was it episode 3 you had him on, or was it 2?
2.
2, yeah. Were you surprised at him parting ways with Hastings?
Yeah, well, I say yes and no. Football's a results business these days, and even more so than it ever was even 15, 20 years ago. And you look at the record for Hastings this year, the same with Lancing, with Jamie Hollis as well. Both sides would have expected to be probably in around about the top 10 at this point of the season, pushing on, ready to make a charge towards Christmas and just after into the playoffs. So no, I would say from a results point of view, he's probably pretty frustrated with how it's gone for Hastings this year. And again, you just if the results don't go, you're really walking that tightrope that someone's likely to push you off.
Yeah, so well, it is a lot different now. It used to be people wouldn't even talk about this until 15 games into the season, but the modern football, it seems to be people are under pressure fairly quickly within a few games, unfortunately. Trev, that's the SNLF podcast, but you've got a lot of other many other hats. Did you want to bring up any of your other bits and bobs?
Yeah, let's give them a bit of a plug. I'm still just about involved in the PNLP, the Premier Non-League podcast. That's been going for 5 years. I'm not on it as often this year as I have been in the past, literally because I've got so much going on, and with the SNLF podcast and the website, and with more bits to come for that as well. That's kind of taking up a lot of my time. So I'm sporadically on that. So if you still listen to that when it's out every other Monday, you occasionally hear my dulcet tones, but not very often. Then blogging wise, I have got my own Barnet blog as well, which keeps that separate from all of the other stuff I do as well. Which is on a Substack as well. That's trevorknell.substack.com. And as Chris mentioned earlier, www.footballwriting.co.uk is my main one, which has been going 7 years this month, actually. So it's just about birthday time. So that normally means should be a little special offer coming out in the next couple of weeks just to celebrate that as well. But that I'll try and keep as diverse as I can, get to as many different games and clubs. I dislike, because hate's a strong word. I dislike people calling me a groundhopper, because I go to the same grounds year in, year out because of the people that are there, people I know at club, and that sort of thing. Because it's great. I mean, as you probably know, Chris, you go around to a non-league ground, there's always somebody especially if you've been in the game long enough, there's someone to catch up with, and that's what I go for, because it's not just that. There's players on the pitch as well that you look at them and think, well, I should be playing a little league higher. And some of the people I'm in contact with as well, I'll happily stick names their way. It's up to them if they take it up and go and have a look or whatever, entirely up to them. But it just, they can't get out to watch, all manner of games and everything. So
Exactly.
you can subscribe to that for £5 a month. So you get eight different pieces in a month. So it works out 50p for each one. You can't buy a cup of coffee, much below the fiver, let alone go and get anything for 50p these days, not even a Freddo. So,
Yeah.
and I also do a free piece for everybody on a Friday as well. So even if you just want to subscribe for free and read that, you can. There's something for everybody. And the program writing service, I started actually in the pandemic years. And also we had 2 years of stop-start football. It grew. It was started with actually East Preston were the first side to take me on. I've now got 9. I've just Bognor Regis have just come on to join this year, so it's part of the service. Ironically, I have, which is where I actually hail from, where I was born, than I do anywhere else in the country. But I picked up a couple of new ones this year in Brixham and Lower Breck up near Liverpool, so it's quite diverse. But the uniqueness of what I do is every club gets their own column for each home game, so it's completely different. It's their choice whether they want to pick a topic for me to write about and I'll turn it into an article, or whether they give me free rein. And literally all the Shot Town in the National League that I do are the only ones who choose, which is great. I'm quite happy like Victoria doing that for me every week. No one gets the same words, no one gets the same column. It is literally that unique. I might use the same topic, but it'd be a completely different article on each way it goes. So that's why I can turn that into a charging service, because I could just write one generic column as someone like the non-league paper does and just give it out like that. But the club seem to enjoy it. I've got Met Police who've been doing it for 5 years. My longest serving club. And most of the others are into 2 and 3 years. Just obviously some new ones this year as well. So if there's anybody out there who wants some extra content for for their people to read as they come through, they're all designed to be either informative, an opinion, or you've learned something by the time you've read it. When I was younger, growing up, I always used to get programs at games. I still get them now, but I want to learn something or read something within a program and think I've actually not just flicked through at pictures in a like looking at a magazine. I actually want to come away thinking, and I do appreciate how difficult it is to put a program together. I've done it a few times at step 6 level. But I know there's some really good people out there that do print programs, and they'll tell you it's still cost effective to do it. You've just got to market it very well and have a good selling point inside the ground.
Yeah, no, actually, hallelujah to you for keeping the program going. I'm an absolute stickler. I have to, when I'm going to a game, I have to buy a program. Everyone who knows me knows that that's the first thing I'm looking for. Then it's the bar. But firstly, program 50-50 or whatever the club's got going on, and then the bar, and then I tend to stay around there. But that's fantastic work you're doing. But you just mentioned in Barnet, you're around everywhere. When do you ever get time for Barnet?
Fun enough, I had so many games last month in September that in October, and I went, you know what, I need to calm it down this month and actually get round to a few different clubs. Because I also try and get to each of the clubs who take the work in the program. I try and get round to them at least once, just as kind of a thank you for taking it, because I haven't got to. So squeezing them in as well. So I was actually at Barnet at the weekend with a bit Rochdale 2-1. But I went something like 4 times last month. So it's like, right, that's enough. I need to write about something else. Otherwise, I have to push everything really towards that Barnet blog. And then that means I've got to find stuff to write for mine as well. So I do fit it in. It's not easy from the south coast getting all the way up to the other side of Middlesex as it is, rather than we're not actually in Hertfordshire. It's difficult, but again, it gives me, I can go from watching step 1 at Barnet to go down and watching step 6 at Arundel or East Preston or somewhere like that. And that's what's just so great about non-league football. You've got that level, but you've just got so much in between.
Absolutely. Well, Trev, thank you so much for coming on. And well, I hope all of your many endeavours go well. Obviously, the sponsorship at Arundel, I'm sure that's going to be an absolute crack, and obviously it'll be on video. And any links, I'll stick it on my the videos and the podcast when it goes out to make sure that it goes all to yourselves. Please, if you can, come on again. But listen, you take care and have a great afternoon, mate.
Brilliant. Cheers, Chris. Thank you very much.
No, cheers, Trev. Thanks for that.
2, deep. Just a girl, what she wanted to be.
girl, I can start right away. She said, listen, babe, I got something to say. I've got no car and it's breaking my heart, but I've got a driver and that's a start. Baby, you can drive my car. Yes, I'm gonna be a star. Baby, you can drive my car. Baby, I love you. Beep, 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 yeah. Beep, 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 yeah. Beep, 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 beep,
And now over to the SBTS fan roundtable. Many thanks to Marc from Whitehawk, Terry from Margate, Rob from Folkestone, John from Canvey, Windy from Mighty Hastings, and of course Rob from Horsham for making it happen. It gives me great pleasure to introduce yet again the Sussex by the Sea podcast, episode 130 fan roundtable, with lots of lovely guests who have already been welcomed once, but I didn't press the record button. Hello, John from Canvey, Terry from Margate, Windy Gale from Hastings, Rob from Folkestone, Marc from Whitehawk, and Rob from Horsham. We shall try again. Many apologies to you all. I've already said good evening, so we've already got that out of the way, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. As is tradition, we try to speak to Rob, who's from Horsham, a club that haven't been on before. We'll ask you, Rob, please tell us how you fell in love with the Green Army.
Yeah, so 37 years I've lived in Horsham. Went to Queen Street, our old ground, a few times, 3 or 4 times, but nothing major. Didn't follow them religiously or anything like that. And that was around when I was 17, 18. And then they moved and we were homeless for 11, 12 years, Worthing, Lancing. And then life just takes over. And then realistically, the last 6, 7 years, I'd say, sort of went back there with a new ground. It's a club that as soon as you walk in, everyone's friendly. They remember your name. It's sort of a place you want to come back to. And then, I found, I'm sure you've all heard, the bunch, the Lardy Army, and they sort of dragged me in. And from there, the rest is pretty much history. Every home and away game pretty much go to. I only miss a hand for the season. Sort of, I used to support a league team, and that's sort of taken, now Horsham's taken over that now. When I first met my partner, she knew that if, for example, unfortunately I was a Liverpool fan, well I still am, but when they lost, she knew. Now it's the other way around. When Horsham doesn't even need to ask me, she knows. She just looks at me or whatever it might be. Or So that's how I fell in with it, and it's a great club to be with and associated with. And luckily, in the last 3 or 4 years, we seem to be going in the right direction. It's just been a wave of enjoyment really to be with. So and it's like, as you all know, it's a drug. It takes you. I just love it. It's you speak to the players, the manager, speak to the away fans. It's just a great place to be on a Saturday, home and away. And there's nothing like non-league fans. So that's how I started and continue to do so.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Rob. Good sport. Hopefully you can come on many times after this. We're talking about your lot. Obviously, you didn't start too well, but since that Dulwich, where you got a bit of a spanking at Dulwich, I don't know what Dom's done, but you've been generally outstanding since then.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at the start of the season, obviously, as you well know, down at Hastings, it wasn't just that. It was the next 2 or 3 games we played. I think after you guys, we played Chichester at home on the Tuesday, following the Hastings on the Saturday, and then we had Potter's Bar. And for example, the Potter's Bar game could have been 5-6-0 at half time, and it was 2-0, and then you get back to it, and by 90 minutes up, it was 3-2, and you're sitting there going, we're standing there, and you're like, how we not finish this game out? And I think that was the start of the season. Sort of felt like that. And I've always said it. If you want to play Horsham, for me, the beginning of the season is probably the right time to play him, because we take a little time to get going. But yeah, that Dulwich game was Dom's the first one to admit. It was 3-0 down after 20 minutes. It's sort of one of those games you can brush aside, but we were terrible that day. And then sort of from then on, we sort of kicked on, and it's a little bit frustrating at the moment. Well, not as frustrating as in the sense with the league that we can't put a run together, because with the cup games, FA Trophy, FA Cup, Sussex Senior Cup, we sort of like play a league game and then that's it, put to bed for 2 or 3 weeks, and then we get to another league game and there's a cup game. So but no, we're beginning to start to tick now. We're fortunate in the sense as well. We seem to keep the core players, and I think that helps massively. And we've added a bit of quality, like with Phil Pock signing full time from Dorking. Chris Dicko, who's come in, who's 39, but I generally don't think there's a fitter 39-year out there. He's a joke. He comes on and does a job, and yeah, we're doing well. Hamo and Barker in midfield. It seems to be ticking. Ola from Lewis. So we had that little bit every season, but yeah, we seem to be doing all right now, especially after that Dulwich. That was an anomaly. That doesn't normally. We don't normally get beaten by 5 goals, 6 goals, that sort of thing. So, but yeah, no, we're starting to tick.
Very on Horsham, that was.
Yeah, it was. It seems to think that every shot was going in, and I think you get games like that. I'm sure we've all been there where you're standing there after 30 minutes. You don't mind getting beaten, and the way we did that day, and it was just one of those things. It's frustrating, and unfortunately for a Horsham fan, we don't get that very often. So you can sort of put that to the by side and move on. And we did that really well, to be honest with you. We came back, we bounced back, and we always seem to. When we do lose a game, we bounce back. I think we do have that sort of, because the boys have been with each other now for such a long time. I think they do have that sort of resilience, and we kick on. So and then and we go from there, really.
Well, it's that, and the fact that you've got Daniel Ajakai, who we absolutely love at Hastings, and it's just
he's a hard player not to like. He plays football with a smile on his face. His pace to burn. I remember last season against Barnsley, their right back, like away at home, he didn't get a kick. Dan had him on toast, and he's a league player, and he's got that quality in him. But especially now, it's sort of, I feel with Ola coming in on the other side, not everything goes through him now. So he gets to that little bit of spurts of rest, and he can then kick on in the second half as well. Because last season he was beginning to tire, and he did have an injury, probably because of the impact and the amount of minutes he was playing. But no, yeah, he's a phenomenal player. He's one of the fans' favourites. All the kids are the first ones wanting his signature. So and pace, as we all know, pace. If you've got pace up top, you're always in for a chance. So. But no, he's definitely a fan's favourite.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. And so who should we go to next? Should we get Hastings out of the way, Wendy?
Yeah, go on then.
Go on then, right.
That's sweet. Let's go.
Right. Do you want to start?
Oh, where'd you start?
No, do you want to start? No, not really. Go on. So I'm joking. Do you want to start?
No, start with the news from yesterday.
What about Bloor going?
Yeah. For those who don't know, our manager was he departed. I don't know. I'm sure it was a bit of shoving and pushing, but yeah. So we had a string of pretty bad results, really, and it was inevitable. The players didn't look like they were playing for him, and there was obviously something not right. So we'll see. Well, temporary manager's Sean Ray, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, temporary manager.
Yeah, and we'll see, won't we? But I think the players are good enough. It's just motivation and getting them playing in the right way. That's just not. It wasn't. I mean, we have lost a few players. I mean, John Ufar was a massive loss for us, wasn't he? But and Ollie Black as well. Some of those players that we've lost, but we've got others coming through. And I don't know. There's some decisions that have been made recently. I'm just thinking, why? Why have a defender on the bench and then moan about your defence, but don't bring him on?
Yeah. Well.
Right. This is why
he lost the plot a while ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that draw against Cray, like we had a couple of weeks back, 0-0 against Cray, and he said he set up well. Cray must have had, but I mean, even we go back to Horsham. I remember when we beat you, you had about 9 clear-cut chances.
Yeah.
That any other game you're putting that away.
I think Rob was right by saying that we played him at the right time. We all said, "Oh, thank God we got Horsham now," rather than in about 3 or 4 weeks' time.
Well, that, and we let the grass grow long as well. But
that's
all the dark hearts. The dark hearts we use.
Yeah.
I'll take anything. I'll take anything to beat Horsham. I mean, let's be fair. But I'm not sure we're going to repeat that at their place. But yeah, so we played Cray, and then he said, "Oh, we set up well and we were hard to beat." And yet they had 12, 13, 14 shots on goal.
Yeah.
Louis pulled off 3 or 4 fantastic saves. If you've set up well, you're not giving away that many chances on goal. Yeah, you're just lucky. Yeah, you're going to get found out.
I mean, I didn't see the game Saturday, but I was listening to radio commentary and
against Hadley.
And he said after the game that he was like, "Oh,
that was a hostage video." Did you see that video? Anyone I recommend highly.
Yeah.
Bloor's.
He's got his hand behind his back. But it was like, yeah, so I'm blaming the youngsters, and well, they're just they're young, they're inexperienced. And from what I was listening to, it wasn't the youngsters that were making the mistakes. So I don't know.
So yeah, anyway,
we've got to move on. I mean, we've been saying it for quite a while, haven't we?
Yeah, they've not been playing for him, and equally, it's like I'm from an old school mentality of if the players aren't playing for them, get them out. Yeah, it's not about getting rid of the manager straight away. But he did neither. So he said in interviews, "Oh, right, we're not going to have it. Some of this lot are never going to play for Hastings again," and then he played them again.
Yeah, and some of the players that have left recently since the start of the season.
Well, they were bang average, weren't they? I mean, we've not recruited well. We haven't. Jack Dixon playing in defence.
Yeah, and we got a decent defender that we put out on loan to Eastbourne Town at the end of the season. JJ Walker, he was doing all right. So keep him. They go on about how good the youngsters are, and you can't just always wrap them in cotton wool. Sometimes you've got to put them in and just say, "Come on, let's see what you can really do."
So I'm going to just get. I could have a moan on about this bloke all day. Yeah, I could.
Yeah,
but I'll just tell a quick story. After the Shoreham win. We won 6-1. Anyone would have beat Shoreham that day. Unfortunately, they didn't really turn up.
No.
Maybe a little bit of stage fright or whatever, because we were nothing special, but we were winning 6-1 without. I mean, another side could have beaten them by 12. Anyway, so our manager just did not want to be there. So he's the first to get away. I just very strange, very, very strange. But
yeah,
particularly after a 6-1, you think, and if you really want to stay. Anyway, so he's parked by the main stand. Where if anyone, we all know where the main stand is at Hastings, yeah? Yeah, so it's dark. There's a big old traffic cone in front of his big 4x4 car, right? And it's one of those big old suckers with a sandbag that's in front of it, yeah? He's so quick to get away. So he's the first person to leave the ground. Most of the fans haven't gone yet. He's jumped in his car to get away. He's drove over the traffic cone. And instead of getting out and moving it, he's tried to reverse. He's ripped up his bumper and he's bombed out the ground, right? And me, my mate Ben, and an undisclosed Hastings player, we were all cracking up laughing at him because he still want to be there, and it was brilliant. There was lots of cone-related humour, that went on after that. But yeah, good. Obviously wasn't working. Goodbye.
Good riddance.
Yeah, and let's hope we can turn it around a bit because it's gone a little bit pear-shaped.
I just hope the damage hasn't been done too much so that we can still pick up. I mean, we were in a similar situation this time last year, and we did pick up, and we had a fairly decent end to the season. Well,
we didn't. Yeah,
apart from the Amex,
that
we won't talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get onto that later.
But yeah, no, we'll see, won't we? Plenty of games to come. I mean, like Rob was saying, the cup matches have made a big difference as well. You're sort of having games postponed. We haven't had a home league game since beginning of September. And our next one isn't until the 5th. And that's on the Tuesday. I'm talking about Saturday league games. We haven't had, but it's beginning of September. I think we got one in Dartford, I think, is coming up in a couple of weeks' time.
I mean, we've got a couple of players in, Callum Barlow and
he looked good.
Callum Barlow was playing for Bognor and scored against us this season, but we've got him back in. He used to be a Hastings academy player. Got a couple of goals against Shoreham, but that's
Finn O'Mara back.
Yeah, Finn O'Mara. Not sure about that one. I just
step
5 player really, and well, he's lovely bloke. I mean, I don't know, Robbo Folkestone Rob. We got Finn O'Mara back. I mean, I'm a lovely lad, but he's not really sort of step 3, is he?
Well, he did all right when he was with us. I was gutted when he left, but I haven't seen him recently. I haven't seen him. But
he's at Whitstable. We got him from Whitstable.
Yeah, actually, I did see him in a friendly beginning of the season, but yeah, he dropped all the way down to Whitstable. Okay, right, yeah. But I mean, he's a solid lad, isn't he? So you might get something out of it. Fingers crossed.
But yeah, so we got a decent spine. Finn Chapman, Freddie Legg. Got George Walker, good player, coming forward, and obviously Louis Rogers, a very, very busy goalie. It's not panic stations. It's just the right time to change and just try to be less easy to score against.
It'd be interesting to see who comes in, though.
That's true. Right.
Don't know if there's any obvious candidates.
Well, I don't know. I mean, what do you just throwing it out to you lot? What do you make of what was going on at Hastings, or do you think that we're all drama queens and we've sacked him too early? What do you reckon?
I never thought he was the right choice anyway. to be honest, from the start. Yeah, I think that was just a bit of a rush job, I think, getting him in. I don't think Hastings board and committee actually thought it through. I think they were rushing to get somebody in the door, and he was first name that popped up, and I think that was it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, I'd seen his name touted around before. I mean, I'm not going to be claiming to be a massive Sussex football expert, but I think when he was at Eastbourne Borough, I think his name was getting dragged from what I saw on Twitter. So I thought, yeah, it's a bit of an odd one, but as you say, the results were speaking for himself, really, weren't they? So, and as you say, if he lost the team, lost the dressing room, then it's best to make the change now. Why it's only a quarter of the way into the season, really. Otherwise, if the rot sets in too long, you're fighting an uphill battle, especially after Christmas.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, we had similar when we bought that Stimo in. He came in and he didn't have the dressing room at all, and it weren't until basically Ben was taking over what the team was doing out on the pitch. He was just there picking the team. So it's if the manager isn't right for the team, it's he might be fantastic on paper, but we play on grass.
Yes. Let's go to. We haven't had Marc on for ages. Come on in, Marc. What's going on with Whitehawk?
Hello. It's good to see you. Good to see you all.
Good to see you, mate. Good to see you.
What's been going on at Whitehawk? A lot. Talking about managerial merry-go-round, we've been through it quite a bit in the last couple of months. So, it's been interesting. Ross obviously when Sean left us in a great position, finished ninth, great end of season form. We was second in the division form. We was just playing out by skin. Season finishes, Sean leaves, 95% of the squad leave with him, to everyone else in Sussex's benefit, to Burgess Hill, to Horsham's, to everyone else. Hamish Morrison's at Burgess Hill, Joel Daly's at Horsham's, and I see Joel Daly playing centre mid against us the other way. I'd call him up and say, "What's happening there?" I've never seen him playing there before.
He's been playing pretty well, to be fair. He's doing all right, to be honest.
Joel's a great player. And then obviously Ross McNeely come in. It was all a bit of a shambles, really. I think between the board and Ross, I think there was just unrealistic targets. So the board wanted us to clear out 95% of the squad, get in a load of players from bloody Lancing and all that, and expect us to win the league. That was their aim, and that is still their aim, to get promotion, which is completely pie in the sky rubbish. It's never going to happen. We could see it at the start of the season. We knew what was going to happen. Ross as a coach, as a person, top bloke, really, really good. I don't doubt his coaching credentials at all in the slightest. I think his CV clearly speaks for itself. That night up in Horsham a couple of weeks ago was just horrendous. It was just absolute dog. It was one of the worst games. I mean, the following week was probably the second worst game I've ever seen in my life. But I walked in, as soon as I walked in the stadium, I thought there was a minute silence. I didn't know what was going on. Wild players on the floor, done his ACL on his knee. He's out now. Apparently probably never going to play football again. So that was our centre half gone. As soon as the restart kicked off, we was 1-0 down within a minute and a half, 2 minutes, I think. It was something silly.
Yeah, it was pretty close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it literally was. Next thing you know, there's 2, 3, 4. And we're like, Jesus. 4-0 down at half time. Lost 5-0. I stayed to the end. 2 players come over to me to clap at the end. One player, I literally was looking at all the players going, what? You lot are just an absolute disgrace, man. Like, absolute, just rubbish. Attitude, mentality, quality, technically, all just absolute pony, to be honest. Do you know what I mean? So we've got a lot of players in. We've got David Attendorf, the assistant manager with Ross from Lancing. He was Lancing manager last season. Clearly, we thought Ross would have more links to the National League. That's probably why we got him in. Never happened. We ended up getting a load of Lancing players who were, again, not very good. And building sort of around them and building on 2 players that stayed with us from last season. So we go to the following week, got Chesham. We're like, right, okay. You know, as we went into the Horsham game, we was level points, level goal difference. We come away losing 5-0. And Ross's words to me were, we should never be losing 5-0 to Horsham. We should never be doing that. And I went to him, I agree. We come here last season, Charlie Harris banged in the 90th minute winner. And we were it was quite good. Anyway, following week, the Chess Hunt just lose their manager, that Craig, who's an interesting character, but full due respect to him, we've done a great job of him on a limited budget. We were just awful from start to finish, from back to front. We've had 3 or 4 different keepers so far this season already. We've gone through 37 players so far this season already.
I thought we were bad.
Yeah, I thought we were. Sorry, Mark. I thought we were terrible.
Oh my God!
No, it's been awful.
Sorry.
When you were talking about Danny Bloor, I'm sort of going. In a way, I did expect it to happen at some point. I didn't expect it so early, but yeah, no, it's been dire. We haven't. I can't remember when we last won a game. So anyway, Ross departs, which I think was a bit of a shame. I think the board have said that they're backing him. To be honest, the feeling I get from my football club, and I'm probably the most outspoken person there. Sometimes they love it, a lot of time they hate it. But I tell them exactly how it is. And I said to them the other night, I said, you lot are a disgrace. All you're doing is literally turning up to get money. I said, none of you care. I don't know if I can swear on here, but none of you
swear. You can swear, don't worry.
I said, none of you give a fuck like I give a fuck. I said, and that's the problem. When you put on that Whitehawk shirt, it should literally mean a little bit of something to you. You've got the opportunity to be playing in the ISTHMIAN Prem. A lot of people don't get an opportunity. So, you would sort of think that they would take it with both hands and they would play out their skin. But the opposite. With the Chess Hunt game, we conceded right before half time. Really sloppy, shit goal. Just a scramble in the box. And then exactly the same just before the end of 90 minutes. Another one. And I promise you, I've never been over that ground where everyone was sort of booing. Everyone was just like, boo, like, let's come off. And I just stood there and I was just like, this is shit. I was just shouting. I was like, you lot are pony. And it's so frustrating because, like I said, I care. I've met all of you pretty much, haven't I? And you know how much I give a shit about my football club. Just don't feel reciprocated from bottom to top in any way, shape or form. So...
there is a sun on the horizon. You know what that sun on the horizon is?
You've
got us. You've got Tuesday week. You're playing us. There's that sun.
You'll batter us. You will actually.
You ain't seen us this year, mate.
But it's got
0-0 written all over it.
Yeah.
It's on there.
I mean, it has, yeah. I mean, I would happily have a bet with you and say that you'll beat us, but I think what's so noticeable is we've got our group who go, we've got the ultra lot that go. To be honest, we've never really been very pally together, but we've got an understanding. We all love the football club.
Yeah, it
got to a point where our group and their group are literally saying exactly the same things, and to me, that's an issue. That's a problem. Yeah. And what I've got, and I've tweeted it. I mean, everyone sees my tweets. It's a load of rubbish. But at the end of the day, we should be allowed to have a voice and an opinion on our football clubs. Like, we spend a lot of money going to follow, home and away all season. I know some of the grounds aren't very far. There are a lot of them in Sussex, but it's the principle of it. We take our time because we love that football club. We take the money. So if they don't care and they don't want our opinion, then for me, you sort of go, why am I bothering? Why am I bothering? I really don't understand it. It's got to the point where
it's like a marriage.
Attendances are horrendous. Attendances are terrible. Even I saw a tweet the other day from a Hendon fan saying that they took 100 away from home. We literally cannot take more than 10, 15 anywhere we go. And for me, that's an issue. It's an issue with home attendances. The whole thing just stinks at the minute. And it's so frustrating because you look at where we was and where we finished the end of last season and you've gone, we could really have built on that. Really, really just kept everyone, added 2 or 3 in. But no, obviously the owners clearly know better. They know football better than anybody else in the world. And we are where we are. And I don't think it's going to get any better. David Appendorf, now the manager, who was assistant manager. So, I mean, if they couldn't get a tune out of him when he was assistant, someone tell me how the fuck is going to get a tune out of him as manager? Because between, us supporters, the fella doesn't even acknowledge us, even assistant manager. Walk straight down, head down, don't want to interact, doesn't want to literally speak to nobody. For me, these football clubs at this level, fans are your lifeblood. Fans are the most important people at your football clubs.
100%.
Yeah.
And if you can't even acknowledge supporters, he said in his interview, I understand the fans' frustrations. You don't, because you're not acting on it. And you're not even speaking to us. So how do you know our frustrations if you don't even speak to us? To me, that's just a load of shit. Just shit. Just rubbish. So really, in a nutshell, really frustrating because we had everything to build on and it's just gone south quite literally very quickly. So, and you could see at the Horsham game, Rob, yourself, we were poor. We were just really bad.
I think going on that Horsham game, I think in the stands, like I said earlier, I think we were missing quite a few opportunities early on, not in that game, but I was talking about previously at the beginning of the season. And we were seeing those Horsham fans go, we knew some team would get the goals that would bang in 3 or 4 or 5. But I think the thing that struck us most in the stands was they were making the same mistakes, Whitehawk. It was continuously the same mistakes at the back. They weren't learning. The gaps were massive. And we thought, generally speaking, to like just a general chat afterwards in the bar, we thought he would probably go then. We wouldn't be surprised. I think you could tell the players weren't playing for whatever it was, but it was just like, you don't mind players making mistakes, but to do it 2, 3, 4 times, you're just like, there's a fundamental issue there if that's the case. So, but we like you say, last year you did a double over us, so I'm not complaining. But yeah,
I mean, and again, it just comes down to how many players we're churning and going through. We've got no spine. I mean, if you're going through your 4th keeper of the season, you've got no
Taylor Seymour debacle even before a ball was kicked, wasn't it? He was there for about 3 or 4 days, wasn't he?
That happened again last season. So 2 seasons in a row, we could have had a stable keeper. But yeah, I mean, I understand how you lot are feeling at Hastings. It's, exactly the same this end. It's just, I can't see any improvement anytime soon, put it that way. I mean, I think we've got Haywards Heath or someone said next week or this week, I don't know, in a cup.
They're turning things around. That's not going to be an easy game.
That will be a very difficult game. I mean, if Haywards Heath turn up the way they've been playing, then we're going to get a massive, massive shock. And for the club, and without any disrespect to Haywards Heath, I think they're blinded at the minute. It'll be embarrassing. And it will be...
But Billericay Saturday, isn't there?
Sorry, Billericay, and then I think we've got Haywards Heath the following week. Yeah,
that ain't going to be easy, is it?
No.
Don't make him feel any more sad. Come on, stop it, Wendy.
It's all right.
Tuesday week, you've got us, Marc. All right,
you'll be all right.
They'll be all right then. All right?
Are you down? Are you all down or?
I'm not sure if I'm working or not. If I'm not working, I'm there.
I'm on a raid commentating that night as well. Co-commentating that night.
So yeah, it's not been great. But
it'll get better.
I mean,
thanks for that, Marc.
I think we've all been through it, though, haven't we? Every club goes through a stage like this.
It's just, I can get your frustrations about, like, I say, the boards just wanting to do things on the cheap and just no cohesion between yourselves as a fans and the people at the top, the people in positions that really, they say, need to be speaking with those supporters. We've had it at our place. Thankfully, our good ace in the hole at least is we've actually got a manager who does listen to the fans, although the board don't listen to him. So that's kind of like, that one stumbling block we've got.
No, but there's just literally no connection between the club and the supporters at the minute. I mean, just in a nutshell, I won't take too much of your time, but in a nutshell, we had a game a few weeks ago. Jeremy can't remember who we played. But on the Monday night, the under 18s played in their FA Cup game. So a couple of the boys went down to the ground to watch them. Rubbish still everywhere from Saturday. No one bothered cleaning up. The scoreboard, even on the Saturday following, wasn't working. Everything just had that feeling of people do not care. There's too many people at our club that do not care. And just to even have a basic clear up, do you know what I mean? Don't even bother doing that.
That's a bad sign.
So it can get better. Hopefully
it will get better, Marc. It will get better.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
But I know how you're all feeling at Hastings anyway.
Dear. Oh, thanks for that, Marc. I wasn't ready for that, mate. I didn't realise.
Welcome
sorry,
back.
Mate. Yeah.
If you were full of shit.
Right then. Talking to people I want to give shit to. Right, Rob from Folkestone, I've got money on your lot. So tell me why you're such a mixed bag this season.
Oh, mate, it's early doors. Don't worry about that.
You keep saying it's early doors.
It is, mate. You got. Thing is, as long as we're like within touching distance at Christmas, then and that's the game. I think that's the game. Just sit behind the front. You know,
I'm not going to cash out yet. I'm not cashing out yet. Don't worry.
Don't cash out, mate. Don't cash out. No, well, I don't know. I'm not sure about promotion, mate, but we're in for a shout for playoffs if we continue as we have been. We've just been a bit mixed bag. We sort our discipline out still. We got another red card the other day, like the red card situation, the sending offs we've had, the crackers. Like, I can't understand how we've had so many red cards this season. It's just mad. But since we spoke last, we had who did we have? We played #United and we got a draw there. Sorry, that was at home. It was 1-0. That was a sending. There was a sending off in that game. One of our boys got sent off, held up for a draw, which we should have got more out of, but another silly sending off. We had the Ascot United game in the cup. We beat them, like I said, by a nose. Actually, we beat them 8-1. So we played them. Who else did we?
Canvey, didn't you? Did you play
Canvey, wasn't it?
We played Canvey. We played a few weeks has been on. We played Canvey and we won over there. Good result. And we've had the cup game this weekend just gone as well. We played a team which doesn't even sound like a real team. It sounds like Melchester Rovers, Barton Rovers, they're called. Apparently they're near Luton Airport, I think. But yeah, we beat them. So we're in the next round, and we got Hamwell Town in the next round for the trophy. So yeah, it's going all right, mate. We've got a couple of really difficult games coming up now. We've got Carshalton away. We never win there. We always get beat there. So I don't think and then we've got Dover on the Tuesday. That's a massive game.
Yeah. It's a shame that's a Tuesday, isn't it? The gate will still be high, but imagine on a Saturday.
Yeah. It's the same with the away tie as well. That was the first away game of the season, Tuesday night. It's a bit of a stitch up, really, I think, because we're going to Lewis on Boxing Day. We should be playing like a local team.
Yeah, it's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah. So if we get 4 points out of the next 2 games, I'll be well happy. I'm not sure about winning at Carshalton, but you never know, mate. But no, I say if we can keep on until Christmas and just be sort of 2-3 points away from the playoffs, that's a good sign. But you just don't know what's going to happen, do you?
No.
It could be better. It's not. I mean, listening to Marc, I mean, God, that sounds terrible. 37 players.
I didn't realise that. I mean, I've obviously been keeping up with Whitehawk, but not that well. Bloody hell, 37 players.
Well, I'm so glad everything's so lovely for you, Rob.
I feel bad, mate. I do. But no, it could be better, but it ain't going bad. You know.
Yeah, as I say, they got Tuesday week, got Hastings. That'll sort you out, Marc. Yeah, go on, Rob. Sorry, mate. Go on.
Right, I hope so, mate.
It's just the Dover game. I just hope it doesn't overshadow the game on Saturday because it's such a big game for the club. I hope they don't let it go to their heads a bit. And we all want to win that game more than anything, but shouldn't let it affect the rest of the season. Because it sort of did the first game when we won there.
There's a bit of hooliganism going on there as well, Rob. You getting beaten up?
With the daughter or with Dover?
Yeah, no, daughter.
Yeah, apparently they said that their police are going to be there pulling their risk supporters away from the turnstiles because I've heard that they got a group of lads who go to the away games because they're banned from the home games.
Oh, I see.
It's a bit like that episode of the Thin Blue Line for Man United in the cup. You know, it'd be a big crowd. It's a big game, and we haven't played them at home for a long time. So in a competitive game, so yeah, just don't want to lose it. But I say get 4 points the next 2 games. Good sign.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, Rob. Right then, let's move on to. Well, I mentioned it earlier. She must have a nosebleed. 4th off top of the Isthmian Southeast, Margate's Terry. Talk to me, Terry.
Yeah, what are going on?
Well. Yeah, exactly.
I'm quite enjoying my football at the moment. Yeah, it makes a change, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. Remember what you were like last season?
Oh God, yeah. I was so depressed. I'm actually enjoying my football though. It's not bad. We've got a good squad going on. We've couple of players. Well, 3 players have
left,
gone.
haven't you?
Yeah, we've had Rossi's gone, Franz and Jones has gone because he weren't scoring. Now he's scoring for fun at Leverhead.
Yes.
JBS went today. Not sure what's going on with that, but then we've got other players in to give us a little bit more up front. But yeah, we're doing all right. You know, you were saying about like the lack of like the management and that actually interacting with the fans and that. when you've got a manager and the rest of the players buying you a drink after a game, you know, the interaction between the players and the fans is really good. They always come over, and if we've had a bad game, they're saying like, you know, oh, sorry, that was shit, sort of thing, you know. And we've only lost 3 games this season. 2 of them were cup games. One league game against Burgess Hill we lost. And you know, the players want to play for us at the moment, and you can tell that they're out there, they want to play, and it's actually, you know, because they want to play and they're playing well, it's coming back for the fans. Like, you know, it's I'm having a great time.
You still doing the away coach?
Yeah, I'm driving the
driving
bloody
it,
well.
yeah.
I'm not driving it at the moment because I've done my shoulder, but yeah, I have a trapped nerve and a bulging disc in my neck, so I can't drive it at the moment.
So I hope you're being driven around then. Yeah.
Well, the last game I drove to was actually Horsham, so
Yeah.
luckily,
The cup and the replay, wasn't it? You had a.
yeah. I had the day off after, so I could do it. There's a lot of Sussex games going on actually. We've got quite a few teams in Sussex that we're playing. Not just like the Horsham game. There's a lot of them all around that area. So I spend most of my time coming down the bloody M23. So
Good luck. Yeah, unlucky.
So who you got Saturday then, Terry?
well, we've got Herne Tomorrow, and then we're Broadbridge Heath, which
That's
I
literally
believe
right
is in
next to us.
Sussex.
Yeah,
It's
right
just
next to
a
us.
couple of yards from
Yeah.
you guys, isn't
About
it?
5 minutes away of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll know that
it's
journey.
a similar postcode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick's
it's the same
driving to
story.
that one, so we're all right. Yeah.
But Herne Bay's going to be a toughie. I mean, well, they used to be.
Yeah, it's Kent Senior Cup as well,
Mm.
so it's like, yeah, bit of bragging rights going on there, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it should be all right. We're going by train to that one, so it's only down the road.
Yeah.
15 minutes on the train. So yeah, but no, I'll say we're fourth in the league. We've got 25 points, which I don't think we had 25 points by Christmas last year. So
And you're still the loudest in the league, aren't you?
what? I mean, did you hear me at Horsham, Rob?
Oh yeah, and at Margate when we were there for the first game. So it's definitely I'll tell you what, that first game I was just touching on that. The first half, do you know what I mean? I know Dom. I think manager Dom, he spoke before the game, and he was said it'd be one of the toughest games. And I think that was tough. For that first game was tougher than when we played Dorking at home. Do you know what I mean? For the first half, they were very good. They got the goal just before half time, and I think the second half we came on and we didn't. We created a couple of chances. We popped the ball about. And I think probably you could toss a coin if a draw was probably a fair result at the end. But I thought Margate were exceptionally played well in the first half, definitely.
So we have tended to be like game of two halves team at the moment.
Even at our place, even at our place, when you turned up, it wasn't like we'll play teams higher up in our league that won't put up a performance like that. So no, hopefully it's a good ground to go to. It was a good trip for us, Horsham to Margate. We quite like that on the train. So hopefully you do well and come back up. So it's always a good way.
I'll say we're getting. I mean, we're scoring more goals this season for a start. So it's like, you know, and it's not just one player that's scoring. We've got like 4 or 5 different players that are actually putting the goals in. So, I mean, Ben Meg the keeper on Saturday, so that was quite good. He's been a little bit off form, but he's getting back into it. Ibs is doing well. Jordan's doing well. We just got another new striker coming. He scores on his debut. So it's like there's a hope there that we didn't have.
Yeah.
We haven't had that for a while, and it's like being able to get there and enjoy your football and having a good performance. Even when we've drawn, you know, we've put in a good performance. Couple of silly goals maybe, but I'm enjoying it. It's looking good.
Good.
As you say, fourth. Come on, we can go for it.
It's tough old league to get out of, though. You know, there's
Oh God,
quite a
yeah.
few
I mean,
sides
it's
there that obviously
yeah,
BANTZ are always going to be knocking up.
yeah. Obviously, with the local rivals as well, like, you know.
What sort of
So,
gates
yeah.
you getting the moment? What sort of gates you getting the moment, Terry?
400-ish.
Yeah.
I think we had 449 something.
That's going
494 on Saturday.
That's still not bad, to be fair.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting more because we're winning.
Yeah. See.
There's a couple of people I haven't seen since 3 or 4 years haven't turned up, and it's like, oh, you're back, are you?
We're getting
Yeah,
less because we're losing.
Well, the highs always taste sweeter if you're there
Yeah.
for the lows as well. And
Yeah, I mean, and I've been
Got
to
a
some
fair wet
serious troughs with this team. So.
Right, and cheers as always, Terry. Right, let's go to John from Canvey. I'm sure you beat Carl Shorten, didn't you?
We did actually beat Carl
Yes.
Shelton. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed bag, but at least one win to talk about, haven't you, mate?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think where we last picked up off of. I don't know, it was maybe like sort of Bognor or maybe Malden in the trophy, something like that. So, yeah, we had a couple of games in that time. Obviously, we had the Folkestone one, I think, the weekend afterwards. Absolutely horrible lot. Remember my birthday. To be fair, it was more of a close. It was quite a close run affair, really. You can see why it was only the one goal that settled it. I mean, that was just a bit of a bleeding free game goal in anything. But I think we come away through it. We weren't too disappointed with the performance. It was just one of them days. So you think, okay, see if we can take that into the Carl Charlton game. And we had, I think, the only sort of monkey we had on our back really is that we hadn't won a league game at home yet. So it was like, well, we need to try and reverse that. As you say, you want to get the crowd on side. And yeah, the Carl Charlton game, the following Tuesday, that was quite a good performance, really. I mean, they're quite a decent side, Carl Charlton, from what I see them playing. Quite quick down the wings, but we managed to neutralise that. And yeah, we got the chance. It was a bit of an unconventional one. It was just like this free kick. We don't know if he meant it, the boy Jamie Salmon. He seems to have a knack of scoring absolute worldy goals or crucial goals. But this one, I don't know. He'll probably want to claim it was intentional, but yeah, it's just one of them to see the keeper looped in at the back post. And yeah, to be fair, I think the most impressive thing about us that night was we held out quite well defensively. I mean, we've conceded some silly goals at times this season. So to get that clean sheet and look convincing in doing it as well was a good thing. So yeah, but I guess again, as you said, or a few people have touched on here, it's getting broken up at the minute by cup games as well. Obviously, we had that one against Horsham, and I knew when that was drawn out, I thought, yeah, that's going to be a tough one because we haven't had the best record against them since we come back up. They seemed to love a knockout competition, so it seemed like it was written in the stars of that. I mean, I wasn't there at the game because I was up in York, but I've had people messaging me. I said, "How are we playing?" Said, yeah, it's all right, but we were lacking any strikers at all that day. We had, I think, the main two. I think one's on holiday, one was at a wedding, and then the sort of young prodigy, Finn Durrell, he picked up a nasty knock against Carl Charlton. So I don't know how long he's going to be out now. But yeah, I mean, I think it just leaves us now pretty much with the league, and you got like the Essex Cup as well. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But it gives us a chance now to get that focus back on it. I mean, at the very least, thankfully, we ain't got a gap in the fixture list coming up in a few weeks because Dover got knocked out as well. So that will be another Saturday game to go straight into. We've got Cheshunt away tomorrow night, which will be interesting, I think. I mean, sort of as people have been saying, like the last few weeks, they might have seen what the people out for it, but I don't know, maybe they'll get a new manager BANTZ somewhere. They've brought someone in, haven't they? I know they lost to Cray at the weekend, but yeah, not one we want to take for granted.
We lost to Cheshunt. I thought they were terrible. I genuinely think you'd be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say we go into the right mindset. I don't see why we can't come away with something there, definitely.
John, they were the worst team that we've lost to I've seen in probably the last 4 years.
Same here.
Yeah, well, hopefully. I mean, we done them at their place last season. It was quite a convincing performance that. So yeah, so we go about with the right attitude. We'll at least have one out striker back tomorrow night. So yeah, I think we got them and then Chichester at home on Saturday. So I think we owe them one for earlier in the season. But we're starting to get that consistent run of games now. So it's just find a bit of form really, and try and prop ourselves up that table a bit.
Right then. Well, thank you everyone for coming on.
Just before you go, Rob.
Go on then.
Awesome, Rob.
Yeah.
All the best on Saturday at Chester.
Cheers, appreciate it. Yeah, another good way for it. No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll keep an eye on that one.
Cheers. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, hopefully. No, thank you. Yeah, no, it should be a good game, that one. So we should see what we can do.
Keep flying the flag of Sussex, mate.
Yeah,
absolutely. That lard's been sent. Don't worry about that. That's gone up there. So,
after ISTHMIAN as well.
Yeah, no, he played on a Saturday actually. Yeah, he's beginning to.
Yeah, no, he's a decent lad.
Injury. Yeah,
I went with him to the hospital for that one. I keep in touch with him. I'm like, I speak to him every week. He's a decent lad. Good. Look after him.
Absolutely. No, it's good to see him back on the pitch. And he played well Saturday. So yeah, hopefully he can keep on as well. So, but no, off we go.
Yeah, and you have to understand how it pains me to say you fly the flag of Sussex to a Horsham fan. Just so you know, everyone knows that's how I feel. But no, thank you ever so much for everyone coming on. Thank you, Rob from Horsham, Terry from Margate, Windy, John from the mighty Hastings, Rob from Folkestone, John from Canvey, and of course Marc from Whitehawk. See you at the game, guys and girls. Yeah, take care.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah, cheers. That's it for this episode, SBTS fans. If you want to get in contact with this podcast, please email us on sbtspod@gmail.com. Twitter, which is SBTSpod. Otherwise, go to the YouTube. Over 4 years of content on there. There's so many other ways to listen. However you get your podcasts, we're on all platforms. Or go to the link tree, which is SBTS Podcast, and subscribe. It's all free. Remember, get yourselves to a game and support local football, whoever and wherever you're watching. And apart from that, see you at the game.